Years ago, his old posse had shot him in the back and given him a one-way ticket to Boot Hill.
There's a lot of tales like the Gunstringer out there, but not a lot of tales told like this tall tale. Okay, that's as far as I can do this review in that voice. Anyway, the Gunstringer is about a marionette zombie out for revenge against his old posse. Now, the story sounds a little strange, and it is, but it reminded me a lot of a Tim Burton movie, or even that recent film, Rango. It has a really mature sense of humor, it's very funny, it's really interesting to play. While you're playing, the narrator will react to what you're doing, so if you're getting shot, he'll say, and he took a gasp of breath as he took a bullet of lead or something, which I found to be pretty enjoyable, and the overall storyline was really funny and had a lot of really good jokes. So I definitely really enjoyed the storyline aspect of the Gunstringer. I mean, the basic storyline is simple, but the characters, the voiceovers, the narration, everything else they did in the game was just outstanding and so well done. And then we have the gameplay. So of course this is a Kinect game, which means you'll be controlling the character with your hands. Now thankfully for us lazy folk, we can sit down and play this game, or stand up, it's up to you. You also don't need near the amount of space you do for most other Kinect games, since you're just moving your left hand left and right to move the Gunstringer left and right, or flipping your left hand up to make him jump. Pretty simple. There are a few other things you might be doing, punching motions if you get into a fisticuff sequence, and of course your right hand will be your aiming cursor, and you'll line up your shots, then you'll jerk your arm back to your shoulder and it'll fire. And these mechanics work pretty well. I found the shooting to be fun and fast-paced and frenetic, and it's really one of the few games I've picked up that had this real arcade game sense of feel. The controls were very well done. Even if the aiming cursor isn't working exactly how it should be sometimes, the game is generally pretty forgiving, and I found myself being able to just swipe across the screen with my hand and it would lock on to pretty much all the targets. I could jerk back my arm and fire and hit all the targets. So the game seemed to be forgiving, and it seemed to know if the controls were being a little iffy at times, and so it would readjust itself. So I really liked that aspect. The game would basically be forgiving, if the game's controls were being a little wonky at times, if maybe they couldn't track you perfectly, the game would readjust the difficulty and the way the aiming and targeting worked. And when the controls are working perfectly, it's flawless. It's tons of fun, and when you get two pistols, you can like move and shoot with them, and it's rapid fire, and I mean, it just works really well. And of course there's a lot of throwback references to older games, and it sort of reminded me a little bit of a dirty Toy Story. It just had a really fun feel and a good flavor. I really enjoyed the awesome music that they had to it, so the game definitely is channeling a lot of different flavors, whether it be Sierra Leone films, or Toy Story films, or Tim Burton, or just wacky, off-the-wall, even, dare I say, Family Guy style humor. It's kind of vulgar and on the edge of being very adult. I'm kind of surprised that they got away with a teen rating with some of the references. But overall, the Gunstringer was a blast, no pun intended, and is definitely the best Kinect game to date. And hey, you get Fruit Ninja with the game, which is, yeah. So anyway, the Gunstringer gets an outstanding 4 out of 5. Thanks for watching my review. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to head over to my website, www.thereallifegamer.com, for more reviews, written articles, and interviews.